after a fantastic first sidecar race, shall we try and repeat that? Try and do the double at the TT, which used to be very rare in the sidecar event until the Virtual Brothers have come along and achieved it the past few years. But we're going to do this race in a very different sidecar, the Cooper and Lloyd sidecar. It's not got the greatest horsepower, rubbish acceleration. We're giving away at least 5 mile top speed to the sidecar we raced the other race with, but we do have the lightest sidecars, and it's got the best handling as well and pretty decent braking. So we've maybe got to be a bit more careful over the bumps, like we don't have that weight over the bumps, but we've also got to try and carry momentum through the corners as well, because we don't have that top speed like we had in the other sidecar, and it's going to be a bit more difficult to win the race in this sidecar. There's also a third sidecar to choose from, which has fantastic braking, and that's about it. Unfortunately, it's like the heaviest sidecar. It's got no top speed. It's like the slowest sidecar as well. It is a wheel boat of a sidecar to drive, so that's why we are using this sidecar instead for this second race. But let's see if we can achieve what the likes of the Birchills, the Molyneux, the Fishers have done in the past, and win the second sidecar to ET. Time for race 2 of 2. And can we make it 2 from 2 in the sidecars in this Cooper and Lawrence? Very different sidecar. As you can see, we've got 3 choices. We've already been in a sidecar which is the most powerful, but has the worst brakes. And it's kind of in the middle handling wise. Oh, and it's the worst handling. It basically just has power. That sidecar. Into Quarter Bridge for the first time. Trying to remember all those techniques we used in the other sidecar. They'll still be handy for this one. This has the best handling of all the sidecars. Second best brakes, and then second best power as well. And unfortunately, that power deficit is quite big compared to the sidecar we drove or rode previously. So we probably won't be aiming for like 20-minute lap times in this sidecar. We'll be aiming maybe for that 20-minute 30-second lap times like we did on the first lap of the sidecar race, in the first race. That'll be our target, I think, in this one. Just to consistently lap around there. So I've only done 1 or 2 laps under 21 minutes, I think, in this sidecar, so that'll definitely be our target. As you can see, it's a very different look as well from the first race. We're, in the cockpit now. Can't see our passenger, but they're still there. We can actually see them as that line in front of us. So as you head towards Ballascary, note where the line goes in front of the green circle. No, they're all leaning to the right. That's our passenger. That indicates the lean. So as you can see, they're tucked in now as they head down through Glen Vine. So even though we can't visually see them, we can see what our passenger is doing this way. I know, being in cockpit, you've got to remember, we're sticking out on the left side. Like, it's not just this view. So we're going to be mainly driving down like the middle of the track here in cockpit view, going over the white lines here, just following the lines. We've got to remember that. So yeah, a bit of a different challenge this is compared to third person view where you can see everything. It's a bit like just driving a right hand, no car on the right hand side. Basically, the steering wheel's on that side rather than the left. It's like driving a car in the UK, that's it. Just got to remember, I've got a whole right side which is as long or even longer to the left of us. Probably won't be taking as daring lines as we did in the other sidecar. Which again, maybe leads to our deficit in that time in this sidecar compared to the other as well. But I think it's mostly the horsepower. It's kind of important around here in the Isle of Man. So head through Gorsley and head towards Badacrane. But also, as you may have noticed, the shadows are longer, the sun is glinting through the trees because we're racing at evening time. So having those longer shadows means the track's going to be a bit darker in places. We've got to be careful of the sun as well, you know, getting into our eyes, blocking our view in some of these corners. And maybe some of those braking points from racing at noon compared to racing there in the evening, you might have used the shadow to help, you know, as the brake miles. Now we've got to change that. And being on a road course, of course, you've got quite a few different choices to pick out as our markers heading to the Law Bank for the first time. Once again, tricky right hand, has got to remember that. Maybe a different sidecar, maybe the lightest sidecar as well compared to the other sidecar. But we've still got the same issue as the right-handers. Maybe you have to be a bit more careful over some of these jumps as well, as they've been in the lightest sidecar here. But yeah, look how dark it is here through the Glen Helen section. You see, just revving the engine, just trying to get the sidecar pointed in the direction we want. Go past Sarah's cottage. And we climb up towards the Quonquilla Body Straight. And over Greg Ridley's Hill, I think this is. Yeah, here is the straight. As we head towards Molyneux, named after the most successful sidecar rider, Dave. 17 wins. Which virtuals are getting ever closer to. And no doubt will probably overtake the record one day. But these virtually have broken their streak. Which I don't think we'll be aiming for the 120 mile per hour that time though. Just under 19 minutes, around 18:48 I think is the lap time to hit that mark. Been talked about for years and they finally achieved it. So on to the next mark, is it? 125 miles per hour now? Let's see, because they comfortably beat that 120 mark as far as if through McGuinness is on the opening lap. You can probably take that flat out, to be honest. Just again, a bit cautious on this opening lap. Let's head through Bargarrow. So again, have to have the sidecar perfectly balanced, all three wheels in unison, and the passenger and the driver. And yeah, we have the brakes for the bottom of the garrow. We're probably going to be doing that all race on just to make sure we don't have any issues. Let's go through Westwood. The double right, double left, onto the straight. And towards Kirkmichael and Douglas Road. And a decent start to that, third of the way through it. No wheel issues. Which is pretty wet. Let's go a bit wide through Douglas Road. Again, don't want to turn too early though. We want to be nice and gentle with our inputs, nice and smooth. Doesn't mean we're not going to be flat out through Kirkmichael though. It's going to be easy flat through, even in the evening sun. But glaring on the windscreen in front as well. Just slight down the brake here. Just want to be nice and careful over these bumps and nooks. Again, over the jump, it's going to be doing slight lifts in this sidecar compared to the other sidecar, or the other sidecars. As the one that's the heaviest, you can just go flat out over it. It helps that they have the least power as well. even if they do have the best brakes, it's not the best combo for round here, unfortunately. That sidecar. Maybe good round the... Maybe okay around the shorter circuits, but yeah, not around this 37 odd miles of the TT course. Over the bump, to head towards the bridge. Get it nicely slowed down, get it nicely down the second. Barely go over the bridge. Over to the fans and get away. So our next big encounter will be kind of Alpine Cottage and Quarry Bends. But you can see how much shadow we've got in this section. It's going to be nice in the kind of country section the second after that, but yeah, in this section, not the best. You can see the sun glinting through, shining through. You see down the brakes here on the first lap as well, down the fifth. And just trying to keep it nice and clean. Try and build up our momentum, build up our confidence this race. Because you've got to do that in this sidecar. Unlike the other sidecar where you can just be quick instantly, it feels like you've got to just work up in this sidecar to work up the pace. Even if we've done lots of practice in this sidecar as well, probably just as much as the other sidecar, to be honest. I'm surprised how many lap times with this sidecar on the leaderboard as well. I thought it'd just be full of the other sidecar, which is much quicker, but I guess with the better hand in, some people like prefer this sidecar. It's a bit wide over the Solby Bridge corner. Around halfway through the lap. As now we head into our first section through Ginger Hall. Another section that's going to be very dark for us, maybe, with all the trees and sunlight poking through. Brake a bit early down the third. So the sidecar getting a bit unsettled there on the braking. Oh god. Don't worry, he jumped out, it's fine. It's fine. Again, see, that was the shadows. I just forgot the turn. Lucky you weren't going too quickly. You know, we could jump out in time and see disaster. Well, the passenger could at least. Alright, which is back on now. So yeah, we got the thing that we can't afford are crashes in this as well. Not being as quick as the other sidecar, like we can't afford an average of what, 4 crashes per lap. Can't afford any crashes really. That's how we match ourselves on that time compared to the other sidecar. But we're pushing, what, just over 20 minutes? As said, if you have a good lap here, it'd be like around 20 minutes 30 seconds in this one. It's got to lift slightly through here, getting a bit more unbalanced the sidecar through here compared to the other sidecars for less weight. Again, slight down the brakes, down the fifth. Let's head towards Millentown. Then Schoolhouse Corner. There we go, we have survived. Now we're into Ramsey, and now hope it's going to get a bit brighter this track for us. Alright, bump. Use a lot of brake there. We braked a bit too late into Parliament Square, but we've got it stopped. And now the very tricky right-hander. Be very cautious through it. Just make sure on entry you've got it slowed down where you can got the sidecar pointed to where you want to go. That's the most important thing. And then we can accelerate a bit earlier. And slight lift through the right. Because again, right-hander. Then into Ramsey hairpin. One of the few places where we get it down the first, along with Governor's Bridge. I think there's only 2 places that actually get it down the first. Let's get into the waterworks. Get all the way down to second. Can't see where the bank is on the right hand side as well. Hope we survive. And then get it all the way up to top gear. Now you can see I have to drop down immediately. Through the gears I do enter the gooseneck. And now the sun will be trying to blind us in the countryside. And so you're already trying to get the glare of the windscreen in front. But you definitely prefer it this way up rather than the other way with lots of shadows. Let's head towards Joey's. Again, just picking a braking point here, just being nice and smooth. Keeping sixth gear as well. So keeping rev so, just not unsettling the sidecar at all. But yeah, I was amazed looking at the leaderboard, talking of the kind of times in real life where they're pushing, you know, under 19 minutes. As we could not get it stopped through Guthrie's. Freight's too late apparently into Guthrie's. Don't worry, as you can see the Sidecar flipped back over, so we're fine. But yeah, look at the leaderboard, there's only 2 times on the leaderboards under 20 minutes. So it's a mountain mile now. And I'm third on the leaderboard with a time just over 20 minutes, like 20 minutes 5 seconds or something. And in real life, they're doing what, 18:48, and there's only 1 time on the leaderboard which is under 19 minutes. So, shows you perhaps how right or wrong these Sidecars are. Was what, a few years back they'd be aiming around 19 minutes. To be fair, there's only a few Sidecars in real life which are doing under 19 minutes, but I would expect more than 1 person on the leaderboard would be under 19 minutes, but maybe shows how popular the Sidecars were. I was trying to find footage of this on YouTube as well, of the Sidecars in this game. There's not a lot of videos out there, to be honest. Probably like doubled the count with these couple of races. It's got the lift a bit. Remember in the first race we got a bit too wide on the left. So remember to lift. We go through the veranda. We're just going to be lifting it, as you can see, like the bank there, just covering the inside of the corner. Let's get towards Black Cut. And the bungalow down the 5th. Even though we've had a couple of crashes now, it's gone pretty well. Much smoother opening up than I had the first race as well, but of course the main thing will be seeing what the lap time is as you go up Hellwood Heights and towards the dreaded Brady Well corner and the peak, the TT course, all downhill from here in the last part. Look at the beautiful countryside all around us, like. Well, watch this. More I like see this place, more I want to live here. Like the TT, I wouldn't mind this. Like, live on an island. We've got a few bike festivals, you know, throughout the year as well. Beautiful looking countryside around it. Not being in Britain and its shambolic state as well, so like, even though we're not moving that far away from it, but still it won't be in it. And I think that time wise we're actually around that 20 minutes 30 at the moment. We'll probably take that flat out's next lap again. Just want to make it clean through the rest of this lap. Let's go into Keppelgate. It's right past Kate's Cottage. Now towards Craig Nabar. Probably the one thing I haven't taken advantage of in this Sidecar is how much better the braking is. I definitely feel on this that we've broken, 5-10 meters early, like we can brake a bit late in quite a lot of these corners. Let's head towards Brandish, and now look at it in this Sidecar. Remember in the other Sidecar I had to lift? No such thing in this Sidecar. No lifting in this one. As he top out at just over 150 miles per hour. And downhill into Hillberry. Let's head towards Crank Namona. Craig Namona. Or Nursery Bends, I think it is as well. I keep getting Nursery Bends mixed up, I think, so. But now we're definitely in Signpost. Alright, we're definitely at the end of that. Can we take Governor's Bridge though? This is the big question. Can we take it in this Sidecar? We couldn't in the other one until like the final lap, so let's see. Oh. No, it's not turning. Hey, no, we've done a time around 20 minutes 30 though. Oh, or were. Until we hit the inside of Governor's Bridge. There's out the dip. Back on the start finish straight. So not a bad lap time. That's with 2 crashes as well. So much so are we? Around 20-40 in it, like that time wise. So yeah, around 10 seconds slower. You did in the first race. But I have a massive lift here. I've tried to take it flat in practice on the second lap, but it does not work. You have to have the lift. As it just gets light through there, the Sidecar otherwise, and you're flipping for days. Right towards Quarter Bridge. As you can probably tell, like, we're starting to use a lot of the kind of rear or handbrake. It's like rear brake for the bikes. I'm not sure what it is for the Sidecars. It's just rear brake or handbrake. Starting to use that a lot more in the braking now. As I get a bit more aggressive the braking. Again, it helps a bit with the balance of the Sidecar. We don't trail brake as much as well in this Sidecar compared to the other Sidecar. Because it, again, it's a bit slightly better around the corners. And you've seen some corners we can take them flat out compared to the other Sidecar just because of that lack of power as well. So we're not as, quick going into the corners, so like 5 to 10 miles per hour slower. It makes all the difference. Go a nice smooth start to the lap. Going good in the Sidecar. Boyd had our best lap so far crash-wise as well. Just 2 crashes on that opening lap. Much better than in the first race as we lifted a lot through Ballascary. Now through Glen Vine. Imagine having a property here. Imagine a property anywhere around any mountain course. Absolutely love that. Just being in your garden, just glance out. Oh no, there's a Sidecar, some bikes around there. Might as well go and do it there. Right, but this is our push lap though, this second lap. If we can, maybe be around 20 minutes, 20 seconds, so we can make up those 10 seconds from the first lap. That would be ideal. That'd be by far my quickest lap time in this Sidecar as well. think previously it has been around that 20-minute 30 mark. You know, so they've been, what, 20 odd seconds quicker than the other sidecar than this one, so maybe shows you the kind of difference in speed between the sidecars. I haven't done a full lap in the other sidecar. I tried it for half a lap and I found it dreadful, so it was like, this is way too slow. It's not going to work. Alright, 4 Banner Crane. Brake on that sign on the left. Just a bit of that rear brake again. And like the second part of the braking phase, so we like brake heavily with, you know, the normal brakes. And then we get the rear brake or whatever to help with the second part of the braking phase as we ease off the first brake. So that kind of takes over the braking. Well, it doesn't take it over, but, you know, kind of helps slow us down a bit. Yeah, there definitely seems to be a technique that's working in this sidecar. Oh, no. Oh, I just lost the rear. Just a bit too much speed. Again, right-hander. 3 crashes, 3 right-handers. I swear our rider's fully to the right as well, so again, I don't know how you combat that in this game. I don't know if it's just an issue in general. Because the left-handers are fine, it's just 3 right-handers we're nervous. Might just be an issue for me, who knows. We can definitely gain more speed through there, can't we? It's past Sarah's cottage. Revving it all out as we climb uphill. I have to say, I've enjoyed the challenge of these sidecars. I said in the previous race, I probably don't enjoy them overall, but I've enjoyed the challenge of trying to learn them, and as I said, they're one of the most difficult things I've had to learn. Because there's such little tolerance for any mistakes with these things. And there's so many things that can go wrong with them, like compared to what can go right. But as you can see, when you get it right though, it's pretty satisfying getting a cleanish lap in. I don't think I've had a fully clean lap with these. I think the lap I did, the opening lap I did in this race with 2 crashes is the best I've done in the sidecars round of that single lap. There's always been a crash round the single lap in these sidecars. So that shows how perhaps difficult they are, how competent I am. But it's just tough to get on top of these things. And I'm kind of glad I don't have to do this again, to be honest. At least this year. You know, it's for next year. Alright, gonna brake early. Roll the speed through the corner. That's better. Actually kind of similar to the opener, that, wasn't it? Just braked a bit earlier. So around halfway through the race. Well, I say halfway, we're like a third of the way through the lap, but we'll be when we hit the Solby straight, then we'll be halfway through the race. And I've seen the speed trap times in real life around just under 160 miles per hour, I think. Speed trap wise, just over. So we're giving away 5 to 10 miles per hour on that, on the speed traps. I think that's what we're giving away to the top sidecar as well. It's like up to 5 miles per hour. In this side compared to the top sidecar which we had in the first race. So maybe shows a bit of the variance of, you know, speed we're giving away with the, you know, being the middle sidecar is Right-hander again. Again, exactly the same crash as the first one this lap. Just the touch. I'm talking a touch. Too much speed for me to turn right. So it did just flip the sidecar in the air. So, you know, we didn't injure either of us. Got back in it quickly. It is frustrating. We won't be making up those 10 seconds. If anything, we'll be losing another 10 seconds. We're aiming for another 20-minute 40-second lap time here. Which... Well, we did win the first race by like 20-odd seconds, so we could still be in the hunt for victory. Oh, yeah, we might be kind of chasing our own tail on the last lap, though. We will be pushing hard, which I don't really want to do. I just wanted like clean, no, consecutive, clean, consistent laps, but you're not going to have that around the TT, are you? Especially in a sidecar. It's into past Alpine to Cottage into Crawley Bends. We'll probably take this in 6th, like I think I did in the other sidecar, but I find 5th much safer. So now we're halfway through the lap as we head down the Solby Straight. Fly by the church. And try to think of our braking zone for the Solby Bridge, which was a bit too late on the first lap. Normally you brake on the house on the right. I know, there's lots of houses. Let me point out the house. There we go, that white house there. And you see, much better braking point. Alright, get down the third through Ginger Hall. Alright, if we can survive this section in one piece, no doubt we can survive the second half of the lap in one piece. The last third of the lap in the countryside in one piece. Just got to be careful here over this rise of the bump. Not too bad still in this sidecar though. I thought it would be a bit more of an issue than the other one, but again we're in a sidecar. Doesn't matter about the bumps, it seems like, on that one. Slight lifts. Again, we're approaching 150 miles per hour, flat out. It's like down the brakes, down the 5th. Coast off the throttle. Definitely learning to coast through the corner as well in this sidecar compared to the other one, where I was trail braking like a hell in the other sidecar. This one I can actually ease off the brake and let the sidecar just coast through the corner. Okay, try and carry the speed, carry momentum through the corner, but I'm pointing and shooting. Right, as we head into Ramsey then. Another bump, just slight lift. Yeah, it feels like we're heading almost the exact same lap time as the first lap at the moment. Go past Schoolhouse into the bus lay-by. Very difficult to spot a braking point with the evening sun. Alright, a bit better braking into Parliament Square this time. Not feeling like we've burned up the rear tyre this time as well. Trying to brake for it. There's probably one of the few corners where we're still dragging the brakes, still trail braking quite a lot. Just to keep the sidecar nice and balanced. Alright, into Ramsey. We're trying to spot our apex. Right, nice acceleration. Just brake early into the right. Definitely carry a bit more speed. And through the waterworks. Again, all the shadows, they're kind of deceiving us of how much speed we can go through the corners. This time we won't go up to 6th. That kind of killed the revs previously. And through the gooseneck. I swear the curb is not as chunky as that anymore, but still a unique sight on this very unique course. Right, into our favourite part, then into the countryside. Oh, maybe we should have kept it in 5th actually. Let's go through Joey's, that was very slow. Because I don't know if I can take it in 5th. No, brake early, carry momentum, or brake and be in 6th, but we're going to be like having lower revs. I don't think it, I'm not sure if it will work out as well. So we're braking much earlier for Guthries. Can have our braking done before we turn into the right and go over all those annoying bumps. It may just go straight on the opening lap. Alright, now up Mountain Mile. I think we're doing well. As I said, we're probably aiming around 20-40, but I said that's doing well for me on this bike. So unfortunately, unlike in the first race where we got quicker and quicker every lap. Now that time showed that like 20-30 and it was like 20-20 and then 20-25 on the final lap, something like that. I feel like it's going to be much more even that time spread. I'll say we got quick. On the last lap I crashed once, well that's why we're a touch slower, but still quick enough. Once again, deceiving how bumpy it is round her. We're going to set up the Sidecars, that's why we're lifting early through the right. In practice I was able to do this flat out once, but we're definitely not trying it in the race. In through the veranda. I just slightly lift through the middle. We're basically flat out through there. And through Blackheart, just down again, very bumpy on entrance. And through another never-ending right before the bungalow. Oh, nice line through there this time. Actually kind of hooked up the apex. Maybe we'll be quicker this lap. I don't know. We've had the same amount of crashes, but we haven't had a standing start as well, so we're gonna, or should automatically be quicker. Let's go into Brandywell. Very intimidating, all the bollards, the curves, the tight entrance. And then through Dukes, which is much nicer. Despite all the bollards, you know, it's much more open. Yeah, it's heavily on the brakes into Windy Corner. Trying to do more corners like that, get an early apex. You can accelerate away. Right, now sinking off this last section. Here you go, see, easy flat now through these lefts. No, into Keppel Gate, we're never going to take our chances. Still brake early into that. Barely a lift past Kate's cottage onto the creek in towards Craig Nabar. Must be fantastic being a fan round here. Maybe a bit inebriated as well. Oh, rear trying to go. Lucky the curb kind of saved us there though. Getting reeled up, it's so bumpy on the inside. You probably don't want to be taking that entrance line that tight, but got away with it. Alright, towards Brandish. Basically flat out from Craig Nabar until Hillberry. See, easy flat. You lose like, what, 10 miles per hour through that corner, but easy flat. Kind of choosing that shadow to brake for heading into Hillberry. Seems to be working well. Go through it for the penultimate time. Just one more lap to go after this. Literally is flying by this race. The previous race, like, I felt like it lasted quite a long time, to be honest, but this one, flying by in comparison as you go through signpost. Even though we're going slower, which is a bit weird. The nook. Oh no, couldn't save it. That's the issue. We have to go slightly wider through the right because of that pavement sticking out, and then if you want to carry speed through the corner, well, I just showed you can't. So let's see if we can go around the bridge. Oh my god, we can. This is actually going to be around 20 minutes, 30 seconds. So we're actually on target that time pace. So we might not have gained anything, but we haven't really lost anything this lap, despite that third crash towards the end. So yeah, almost exactly 20:30, 20:31 I think in the end. As we're on to the final lap then. Chase another victory in the Sidecars. Once again, lapping consistently. Can we get it down to 2020 then? Well, I think that crash at the end denied us. At least doing maybe like a 2025. We're aiming to Quarter Bridge. Barely lifting this time. So we have to brake. You see carrying lots of speed into the corner. Had to use lots of rear brake. Obviously with how much the Sidecar pitched there in the braking zone as well. Because I thought I'd win in the other Sidecar. I did not think I have a chance in this one though. So I was seeing a bit of a chance there. We're going to go for it. No doubt. And do I take Scary flat though? That's the big question. Begin on this lap. Do I dare? That was a better min speed for it out as well. Gets over 80 miles per hour when previously we dropped to like 78, 76 miles per hour. We'll see how it is going in. We'll see if the line's right. Otherwise, we might need to take a confidence lift. Oh, oh no, there was a slight of an exit. I was going to say it's easy for that, but then I instinct took over on the exit there. We were basically around the corner. Didn't need to lift. What a fool I am. But only cost tenths for a second. We're not talking about a lot there. If that. But you can see how flat out it is. Basically from Union Mills to... was it the halfway house here? We're flat out for like a long, long time. So you lift when we see the house on the right. So we're going to keep it down the 4th here, just because of this right-hander here. Otherwise, I would like to take it through 5th, through all of here, like I do on the bikes. And I got up to sit even before that right-hander. You can tell we're pushing. Go nicely over Greba Bridge. I got to sit almost instantly as I go for the Hawthorne. And I was saying it's got a different name now, does it? Or I keep seeing different names. It's definitely Gorsley. And definitely coming up is Badder Crane, which has turned into our favourite braking zone in this sidecar. And it's amazing how this next corner is just flat. Just easy flat. I think it's flat in the Super Sport bike as well. It's just crazy. I think the Super Bike's a slight lift, but I might just be cautious. I don't know. Again, I don't know if it is flat. I think it is a slight lift. I'm going to keep it in 5th this time. Down to 4th, so we slow down a bit more on entry. You can see much smoother through that. Into the oil bank, down the 2nd. Back into the curb, as intended. That is definitely hitting the apex, literally. That's what you're meant to be doing. I love that we don't have the overall time here, though. I'm like trying to figure out, on the top of my head, the maths here. Because we've done... first 2 laps took like 41 minutes 10 seconds, roughly. So you've got, what, 20 minutes 10 seconds maybe on the final lap to win it? Or 20 minutes 20 seconds on the final lap to win it. That is our target time. If the pace is similar to the first race, though. Got the same settings. Highest difficulty. Semi-auto passenger and everything else is off. You can see literally everything now with the HUD. But yeah, I think we're aiming for 20 minutes 20 seconds to win this thing again. Might as well retire from Sidecar racing after winning both races as well. We're not like the Birchalls who can't keep winning every year. A bit wide for the right. Again, the right hander unsettling us. Okay, it's that left nicely downhill, nice and easy at the apex for that left as well. There we go, much better line through Hanleys. Maybe not the speed, we could maybe take that in 5th, but we'll take that. It's now the left-handers from L through McGuinness's. And Bargower, how brave are we through Bargower on this final lap? Pretty brave. You can see we lifted early just to make sure we set up the corner properly. And the second part, slight dab the brakes. But okay, a bit more speed this time. Slight there to brake again just for balance there. Just to make sure we're not flying in the air. Let's go through the double right, through the double left, in 5th. Slight lift through the middle. Just get the Sidecar rotated and point out of this left-hander through Westwood onto this straight. 3rd race through to that, and we're feeling very good. Let's go into Douglas Hall, get it all the way down to 3rd. Wave to the fans. Maybe head into the shop here, get some milk or something. Literally fly by. So I can't pay, you know, I'm in the middle of a race there, but I'll grab the milk from the shelf, alright. Easy flat out. And slight down the brake here. Now the thing I've probably learnt the most or changed the most during this race is braking early and setting up corners better on this lap compared to the first lap, like. And that has led to us being freaking flat out here. And so far looking very good. And it's a bit like a rally car, like say Richard Burns rally, always setting up the corner, what, 500 meters before with the pace notes and hearing them. You're not setting up like 200, 300 meters beforehand. When F1 got 100 meters before the corner, like when you're literally braking for the corner. Go past the Raven. Get a pint after the race, of course. So yeah, it's just being that, again, that slow in, fast out, you know, drivers. Like they say in Richard Burns Rally, in order to be quick, you drive slow. In order to be quick in this, you're kind of like driving slow again. Like backing up these corners, I'm braking here, but I'm carrying momentum here. At least in this sidecar, it's probably not possible to drive or ride like this in the other sidecar. We go up to 630. But the outer quad he brings onto the Sulby straight. We can try and lift our fingers off the controller. They're not even barely moving though. As he just got half a lap to go past the church. To pray for victory. Wonder what they do in real life here. Do they just like concentrate? Do they shut down a bit here? Take a bit of a breather? Or because we basically do just shut down like through there. We're just like not really thinking too much. Let's get a bit wide through Sulby Bridge. That was my mistake. We're braking a bit earlier, so I tried to release the brakes. So it ended up with us braking a bit too late. So that was not a good idea. Especially into corners like this left hand, you do have to like set them up early. It's, oh, we're almost tilting over. As you see, that's important. That's the reason why you set that corner up early. If you do that too late, when the hedge or flipped over there, but you slow it down enough, just enough early on there. Oh, you're doing well though, doing very well. Right, through Churchtown. Basically under the trees for like the final time here as well. Got the section from kind of outside Ramsey through the waterworks, but then it's nice and sunny afterwards. I feel like it's just a lift through there, but we've just been dabbing the brake every lap through there. Just again, keep it safe, keep the balance, keep it nice and balanced, the sidecar. Don't tell me what my braking point is for Schoolhouse Corner, I don't know. But we made it every time. Into Parliament Square. Very nice. Very smooth. Again, another corner where it's important to brake early and set up early. And get on the power nice and early uphill there. It's the thumb's going. Oh no, thumb's getting numb. As you can tell by us turning a bit right there. Right, through the left. Out of Ramsey's into the countryside. Oh, we're loving it. I hope you're loving this chase for victory as well. There's nothing like it. Literally, I don't think there's any Are there sidecar mods and stuff out there? Surely there must be for it's like R-Factor or other sims. I imagine there's sidecar mods. But is this the only game with official sidecars though? I can't remember any other game that does have them. Yeah, I love the unique challenge of these sidecars, but very glad to be going back to the bikes, I think, after this. Especially on TTR Man 3. We enjoyed them the most. Again, equally as slow through Joey's, but again, we're just making sure we're nice and safe on this lap. Nice and cautious. We build up the speed towards Guthrie's Memorial. Brake on the right here. The braking done here. Okay, let's get the sidecar through there. We have almost a perfect line through there. Right, down the brake. Put that wall on the left hand side. Okay, speed through there now. Accelerate through Mountain Mile. For the final time. Oh, we're going to miss these sights in the sidecar. So you're starting to set in on the fingers. I tell you, I just had my thumbs like going already. Still got a third lap to go. Well, it's more like a quarter of a lap to go now. I think it is. I think that's Mountain Box. I think that's just we've just been through. Accelerate towards these right-handers. Very bumpy. Not as bumpy as 2 actually, surprisingly, but as you can still very unsettling in the sidecar. Oh, is that Mountain Box? I forget. One of those corners is Mountain Box. Go through the veranda for the final time. Again, slight lift through the middle there, but basically flat out. Definitely got Black Hut next though, I think it is. Down again. We probably take this in 6th, but don't know. Feels like get better turning going down the 5th through that. And past the bungalow, over the tram lines, past the cafe as well back there. Saw a bit of their food on Twitter earlier today. I was like, oh, that's very tasty. Maybe. I know where to go to if I ever go to the Isle of Man. It's into Brady well. We survive it for the final time. Bit wide on the exit. We made it through. On a slight lift. Oh wow, we're under 17 minutes. This is definitely a good lap time. It's into Windy Corner, into the final section of the lap now. Sinking of home. At the moment, I think we're aiming for a sub 20 minute lap time, which, as I said, is a miracle in this game. So, it's very rarely happens. And I'm looking at my sector times. My sector times are like only half of them are top 10. And I've got the third best time. So I'm thinking people just practice sectors on these sidecars. And not bothered to actually do the full race or the full lap. And that's all they could put up with the sidecar, which I can totally understand. As they go flat out past Kate's cottage this time. It's the final lap. We've got to be flat. Break on that sign on the left. Needs a bit of that rear brake. There you go, see it's slightly wider there. We weren't right up to the curb there, so the rear end didn't try and get out. We were slightly wide on the apex. Then we could just roll the sidecar through the corner. And now flat out until Hillberry. Thinking of that finish line, thinking of that champagne, aren't we? We've still got some tricky corners to go. Getting the trickiest of them all, as you've seen in this race, which is like the Governor's Bridge. It's down to 4th. Kind of dragged the brake there slightly because I was worried I was going a bit wide. And so you definitely hit the apex though. Slightly early for signposts. And so you got an early apex, they almost went into the curb. Alright, but careful of the nook here. Brake on the right hand side where that barrier appears. There we go, we've made it. Alright, just a couple corners to go. Gonna be very cautious here. Can we make it round? Oh, we can. Oh my god. Over the bridge. We're gonna smash our previous best lap time. Gonna smash our target time. As we're gonna cross the line in under 20 minutes on this final lap. I'm just the 3rd person to do that in the game. And that means we have won both sidecar TTs, this one by almost 40 seconds for a flawless final lap. And just to prove how good that is, as you can see, by over a minute, the best Tours Trophy event. And then for the lap time, there you go. We are 3rd best, just 16 seconds. Behind 2nd in the Cooper Lawn as well. As you can see, it's all Bound Riders crew or Cooper Lawn here. As, my god, what a couple of sidecar races. How has that happened? And the strange thing is, as well, is that I didn't show it, but all the sector times, only in like half of them, or 2/3 of them, am I in the top 10 for the sector times. Okay, I'm just outside the top 10 in the other ones, but still, it's a bit strange having the 3rd fastest lap time, the fastest race time, but not actually being the fastest to win all the sectors. So, bit of an interesting quirk, but my god, what a fantastic couple of races with the sidecars. Yeah, that might not be my favourite vehicles in any games, but it's just a different experience around the TT course, and I would love to see sidecars done a bit better in future TT Other Man games, and I can understand why it'd be a bit low on the priority list in future games, because it's a very different discipline to recreating the bikes or the super bikes, sort of the super sports, the super twins, the super stocks. This requires, a bit more work to get them working properly, and as I said, it doesn't quite come all together in this game, but once you got a hang of it though, such as in this race, as you can see, it is quite enjoyable to be quick in these, and especially in that 1st person view, you still get that sense of speed as well going around this TT course, even though we're going at least 10 miles per hour slower than say like the super bikes or even the super sport bikes as well around this course. But the times are a bit slower than in real life as well. We're like a minute slower than the virtuals at least in real life. So hey, if they do this in future games, no doubt we will be hopping back on the sidecar and trying to match those real life times. But I hope you enjoyed the sidecar races though. There's much more to come in TT Isle of Man week, as we've got the second Super Sport race, we've got the senior TT to end things as well. So out for watching, and I'll see you all next time.